I have to say, I've been seeing a little shift recently.
Swirls.
It's a lot more Black women dating outside of their race and looking at other options. We don't only have to date Black men. And I think we get like feeling like we're disloyal to the community. But I'm like, they be dating other people. We're will be the main ones. I bet you if there was like, and I'm sure there's statistics out here that I just haven't looked up, but I just know from what I hear from Black women, a lot of times they be like, I just want me a Black man. He need to be. I was saying it.
Yeah, I was.
And I've dabbled. I have to say, I've dabbled out there and seeing what the streets are saying. And hey, I'm equal opportunity. I am about diversity
and inclusion,
including and all races, ethnicities, and nationalities. So, you know. Hello, and welcome to the Bold Black Girls Podcast. I'm Aries.
And I'm Kim.
And first of all, it's late at night.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday. We're recording on a day that we usually don't record because Kim going out of town. She got to be gone in these here streets.
I'm rolling it up like Carolyn was this weekend.
Right. She is about to be out here in these streets. So we are trying to record and we just got through recording our Ready to Love. So go click that if you are a Ready to Love follower and you follow us on YouTube. We do have a Ready to Love recap page. And we love your support. And we are only, Kim, about 15 people away from our 1,000 subscriber goal on YouTube. So if you're listening to us on a different platform other than YouTube, head over to YouTube now and just go hit subscribe on Bold Black Girls on YouTube. And if you are on YouTube and you're just watching us and you ain't hit the like button or subscribe, then you need to go do it now. Okay. It's Friday night, you know, and honestly, it's funny because my kids, they always leave on Fridays to go with their dad on the weekends because that's my time.
Right.
And my son wanted to say, this weekend, he was like, I said, you know, let's put it on the calendar.
Right.
I think I would do better if we put it on the calendar because of like if you want to stay here for a weekend that you usually would be gone, which I know that like in a couple of weeks they're gonna be here with me anyway because their dad's going out of town.
Exactly.
I said, what about the 7th?
I like that. You knew what you were doing.
Because I had to tell him and I was honest with him. I said, look, I have y'all for 5 days and Dad gets y'all on the weekends. I can't just give up my days off like that. I need to be warmed up. I need to know in advance. I need to prepare because I like my time. Friday nights, I'm usually sitting around warming up my bathtub and getting snacks ready to go sit around like somebody who's on an island getting fed grapes. That's my Friday nights. Like I love the silence of the house. Listen. You know, I get the house tidy so that I feel good when I go in my room and totally just chill. And as a single woman, sometimes I'll be like, that's really what you want your Friday night to look like right now at this point.
So similar, right?
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Oh, there
you hear me now?
Yes.
So similar. Our seasons are different, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have an adult child. So
you do.
I love it here. You know,
but it's funny because people will be judging you when you was a teenage mom.
Girl, and
now you have a grown-up child, and I'll be like, dang, I wish I was a teenage mom.
I would tell you, I think back to that, like, I'm kind of glad I was a teen mom. Like, right. It was a struggle, right?
Of course.
It was a struggle. You don't have struggles in life in general, but my struggles was on the front end.
Mm-hmm.
And God said my ladder was going to be greater.
Ladder will be greater than your past.
And I must say, I've done some observations of just people taking their kids to school.
Yeah.
Just that getting up, getting ready for school.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't miss it. Matter of fact, I had Caden for a couple
Who
of
is
days.
11?
10 or 11, I don't know.
Her godson.
Had him for a couple of days. Love him to death. I was like, I need a pill.
I literally told LJ, so we're having this discussion today because he was really trying to give me the reasons why he should be able to say. And I said, look, I don't have a problem with you. He said, I'll just starve for 3 days. I don't have to
Kids are work.
He's like, I'll starve. You don't have to cook for. I said, I had to think about what you're gonna eat. I said, it's a mental thing of
It
like
really
y'all
is.
being
It's a
here.
responsibility.
Because it's not a problem, but it is because I need
You're
my
mothering.
days off. Yeah.
You're
my
mothering.
mental, I can't totally relax
because
if I know you're in this house. Because I'm gonna be like making sure that I not forget something. I'm literally trying to remember that I gotta feed your butt. Still.
Listen. And I was working. He kept knocking on my door, texting me. I was like, this is not what is it.
No, it's a different, but you put your time in.
I served my time.
You served
well.
it.
So let me tell you, and you know, I've been out here in these little streets, popping in Austin, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I love my freedom.
Yeah. You don't have to be like, oh, I can't go out of town because my child, I need a babysitter.
Yes. And
like me.
Right. But you do a good job. You do a good job of it because you know how to manage it. My freedom, my peace. Because most Fridays, you know, most people are like, oh, single woman, she's going to happy hour. Listen, I really don't be having a bra on, but I just go take my bath, go take a bath and get in the bed.
That's going to be me tonight. Because then guess what? Even though I'm off on the weekend, I got to get up and go to a game at 8:00 in the morning because my son is on a travel baseball team and they have a tournament. And it's going to be an 8:00 game and a 9:45 game. And hopefully it's sad because I'll be like wanting them not to win sometimes.
So they don't.
Because they will. You have another game on Sunday. I'm like, I mean, I want them to win, but still.
So I go to the gym today. I go to my gym. Love my gym. Black-owned gym. Shout out to Journey Fit.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, where you been? I was like, oh, I've been out of town. And then so Kiara goes with me. She was like, yeah, she's going out of town again. And so this girl's like, must be nice. I said, I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Don't have kids. They're overrated. Everyone started laughing. Right? I'm like,
what Kiara say though?
She was like, she's like, I was like, she knows. She's like, I get it. I was like, I love you dearly.
Yeah.
I would not trade you for the world. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. People don't really say, they won't admit it's not about how you feel about your kids.
It is not.
It's not about the kids. Because I'm one like that too. Like people talk, I'll be like, listen here. Whatever they told you it was, it ain't. It ain't the same. It's so much to be a parent, like a mother in particular. Not just a parent, a mother.
A mother.
And a Black mother who have to not only deal with parenting, but raising a Black child in America.
And even like girl or boy, Kiara,
it don't matter.
Keeping it 100. We're going to keep it 100 on this episode. I still have an adult daughter. I still worry about her. There are things. She told me the other day she got put over by the police. First thing the cop asks, is this your car? Do you still live in this suburb? One, it's like, okay, why would that not be her car?
I just told the boys this when we did the road trip.
Yeah, why wouldn't you live in this suburb?
Yes.
So that's going through my head.
But these are questions that I just said this to them. I said, when you have a nice car, because we were in the new car, we went to the NCAA, the first round of the March Madness. And we're driving. I said, my fear for y'all is that getting pulled over by the police. I said, if you are a Black man, you have a nice car, you need to already in your mind just know. I said, I want you to feel free and enjoy yourself and get what you want and all that good stuff. But just, you have to still understand everybody's not there. And so you being a nice looking man in a car, as a Black man in a nice car, you have a higher percentage of getting pulled over than someone else. I would put it like that.
Yeah.
And that's so real. So how did she handle it? Like, what was the whole thing?
She said he walked around with his flashlight. Girl, I'm like, I'm ready to find his badge number and go up there because I really want to understand protocol. Like, tell me my offense, ask for my driver's license and registration.
So what did he do?
She got a ticket.
For speeding?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She got a ticket, but she said it was the delivery. It was
how
the
they,
tone.
yeah.
Because I remember just getting pulled over. It was the 4th of July. We went to go grab ice cream literally at the local Brahms. My headlight was out. Lady was like, she asked for my driver's license. She's like, do you live here? Well, what the hell do my license say?
Are you looking at my license? Google Maps.
Clues.
Google Maps. Y'all got computers up in there.
It's just being a Black woman is hard. Being a Black person is hard. And then you add on being a mother, and I can't speak from being a wife or anything, but I can only imagine that responsibility of a husband.
And listen, the same thing you tell them about having a kid. This gonna sound bad, but listen, y'all.
This is a Keep It 100 episode.
I've been married twice, okay, and I'm still open to the idea of marriage and all that, so I'm not saying it in a way like that, but I have been married twice to two totally different types of men. One was a youth pastor.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. Deep Pentecostal roots. One was not, but we went to church and stuff like that, whatever, but it was totally different personalities. It's hard. It's a lot of work, working with someone, living with someone, partnering with someone, putting their needs in your ranking of other needs that are in your life, prioritizing someone, making decisions with someone, sharing your money with someone, having someone say yay or nay to things that you may want to do. That right now you can just up and go wherever on the weekends and do your thing. You can't do that when you're married. And I think people think that if you say that, oh, there's things about marriage that aren't good, that you're a hater of marriage. You're not. Just like how married folks be hating on single folks.
This is true.
These are states that you're in. You're in a state of singleness. You're in a season. These are different pieces of time in your life where you're going to be in these things. And for me, being that I have already been married,
your awareness is very heightened.
I have no desire to rush or be anywhere close to that right now, especially in this day and time.
So let's talk about that. Because I feel like, I think I've shared this and said this on a podcast before. I'll be quite honest and keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
I've done better in my life, thriving and flourishing single.
I think that's a lot of women's testimony right now.
I am doing the work emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We both are.
Yeah.
Right? Iron sharpens iron. Aries and I were trying to work on our credit scores. We were
health,
over here, everything. We check in, motivate, girl. We invest in ourselves.
Yes.
I'm getting rest. She's over here doing everything.
I'm getting rest too. Shoot.
She's getting rest now.
I mean, during the week it's not as easy, but
on you have weekends, boys because you have kids, and that's another thing. Like, again, when I was at the gym and they were laughing, I said, no, real talk. Like, if the type of life that you want, you really need to think about that, right? Because taking care of somebody,
taking care of yourself,
girl, and getting. Well, you don't have.
I woke up this morning. I went to get the tags, get my license plate and registration stuff for my car. Okay, I had to go into the place to go do all the paperwork and all that. Left there, worked some from the house. Mm-hmm. My mom came to pick me up. I went to an oral surgeon to get a procedure done in my mouth. Came home. Somebody who was doing some work on my house came, did some measurements and stuff. Then the plumber came because we had a leak in the pipe in the wall somewhere from the water heater. Okay.
Everything. Yes.
And I remember when it happened, we were getting ready to go to the game on Thursday. I took the boys out of school a little early that we can go do the thing. But I pull into the garage, I see water coming out. And I'm just like, this is not the first time this happened. As far as the water coming out, it was a different reason, but still. I was like, Lord. And I remember when it first happened that first time, I was just like, Lord, why? What's going on? What is this? I was stressed because I was about to go out of town like a day later. This time, I'm like, I'm not about to let this ruin this moment with me and the boys, because I remember last time I knew how to turn the hot water off so it stopped leaking. text my plumber the video of what was happening. He's like, open up this, do this, in the house, turn the hot water side open. I'm about to do it and go. I'm out. I'm still leaving. But all day, like that was my day. So when it's Friday night and somebody be like, you want to go? No, I'm tired.
I want my back rubbed.
I want to lay my butt down somewhere and soak.
So then we think about, we're single, we're thriving personally, professionally, spiritually. And when you think about a mate, I think about those things because I had the similar issue during the pandemic where my hot water tank went out. Water was everywhere. It started coming into the house. So I'm trying to do that and work. And I'm like, try not to stress out.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if I'm dating a person, I think about those things like, are they solution oriented? Are they proactive?
And are you needy? Because guess what? I ain't got time to be worried about your little stuff.
Will you take lead on the things that you need to take lead on?
Yes.
Because here I am managing this whole household by myself. So I really can't afford to be in a situation with someone who doesn't know how to
and want you to be like, why you didn't say good morning this morning on the text? Or why did you, like little nitpicky things.
Yes.
I want you to be like, I'll be like, oh my God, this happened. You be like, oh, do you know that? Like, make sure call this place or give me some stuff that helps. Like, be helpful. You don't have to come and we're not husband and wife, so you don't need to come and do anything necessarily. But like, do you have like when I'm talking to my friends and they bring something, I'm like, oh, you know what? You can call this place. Here's yes. Like
as my friend would say, she laughs at me. She's like, you always tell me, so I'm gonna send it to you.
Yes.
I'm gonna send it
I got
to
somebody. You. That's me all day. Like, so what do you got? You got something? Have you ever had anything on? So it's like, don't come with don't try to take. I'm not in a giving place right now, which is why I'm cool off of dating, honestly. Because I was like, I can't really worry about other people's stuff right now.
And knowing what season you're in, no, seriously,
I got aging parents.
I probably could fit in time, but it's like I enjoy my peace so much, that it would take a lot for me to do that. That I would really have to. That person, I would just really
they have to just be. You have to know that's.
I will have to know, and I will really have to want to do that.
Yeah,
because I'm gonna tell you, not having to share my bed, and I got a king size bed, okay,
and I only sleep on one side.
I roll. I'm in the middle, flipped around.
I literally have a dent in my bed because I sleep on one side. I'm like,
well, I do kind of.
I just be like in my one little corner, and I got my purse and my other pillows. I got
my laptop, my iPad in there in the bed. I don't have my purse. You're my old purse
because I don't, know. So I'm happy you got to grab it and run.
Sleep on her purse.
Yes, I put my purse in the bed,
and I think like, do I have room? Do I have space? Like, number one, we've already had this conversation. Like, both of us we're homeowners, and that if I were to get into a relationship, you can't live in my house. First of all, no. I don't even have closet space.
Number one, I've never lived with anybody I wasn't married to. I'm not doing the shacking
and I would never do that.
But you were young too then.
Yeah, I would never do
I'm not shacking up with nobody, so that wouldn't even be a conversation to be had. Yeah. But I think there is room if we are
here
compatible, not in the house. I'm saying room for, you said, can you make room for someone or whatever? I think when it's a good partnership, it works because you're actually helpful. You're doing more with you're doing more with more people, right? So like partnering on the podcast, it helps because it's not just me. It's like, oh, we can get more done together because it's both of us.
We can go further together.
Okay, I got the editing. You'll help with more of the like production part of like what we about to talk about, what we go, like things like that. You got to have some kind of how we helping each other. If we both are passionate about something or our purposes are aligned, and let's say we both are into like diversity in tech or something, right? And you already got your own little platform or whatever. I got my little platform. And then we collaborate and be like, oh, we could be doing these things, maximizing that. We could be helping create nonprofits or help work with nonprofits, like whatever. But like, it won't feel like you're not spending time with each other because we have so totally different interests. There's nothing that we could do together that, that would make us feel like we're spending time together, like me taking the boys to the NCAA thing. I don't care about college basketball.
Yeah. And so that's love because you don't care about it, but the boys would enjoy it. So
but my job is like, hey, y'all, you want some tickets? We got a relationship with the whatever. Hold on. I had to check with the boys first. Like, okay, so this is the games that they're saying that they can get us tickets for. Is that interesting? Like this, they're like, oh, they're just like, oh, they're the number one seed. They're this seed. They know all the stuff. Okay, like, I'm down, right? I'm like, okay, well, I'll say yes. So I'm gonna drive all the way to freaking Fort Worth because they want it. Now, if in a relationship, if that will be a similar situation. Like, hey, babe, the company's saying I can get these tickets. Like, is this something you would want?
Right.
Yes. Okay, cool. Like, I'll be willing to take that trip with you, whatever. Right. But they ain't gonna be
reciprocate and say, oh, I saw this conference. I think you would like it.
Yes.
Would you like for me to get you a ticket and a room for you and your friend?
Sponsor me.
Like,
at a room for your
and friend. It's about being selfless and over serving each other. And unfortunately, like, I'm like, what's really going on
right now, y'all?
The dating market is discouraging.
I think you know what it is. The market is like how the housing market. It's right. It's not a good time. It's not a buyer's market. It's not so you might need to just chill,
work on yourself,
build up your credit. You know how you could just be like, I'm gonna work on my credit score. I'm going to work on my savings.
Yes.
So that when it's time and ready. Everything comes, the interest rates and everything gets right, then you're like, I can act and I can invest in the best property for me. I'm not just thirsty and getting a high interest loans or no adjustable rate mortgages or things like that.
I'm not be upside down.
Right. I'm not out here getting more than I can afford or living in a hood more than
they can afford.
Living in a neighborhood that I don't necessarily want to live in.
So I say, like, is this the new normal? Like,
I'm not accepting this as the new normal. Okay. I think we're going through a phase that we mean single people dating, particularly men.
Yep.
I think what it is, and honestly, if I look at it spiritually, and I've been seeing some kind of messaging out there about like, Black women, and I mean, we just got to call it for what it is. We're probably the only race of women that will be like, I'm going to stick beside them with Black men.
Yep.
Like, they're the only men that we typically, a lot of us will typically date. I have to say, I've been seeing a little shift recently.
Swirls.
It's a lot more Black women dating outside of their race and looking at other options. We don't only have to date Black men. And I think we get like feeling like we're disloyal to the community. But I'm like, they be dating other people. We will be the main ones. I bet you if there was like, and I'm sure there's statistics out here that I just haven't looked up, but I just know from what I hear from Black women, a lot of times they be like, I just want me a Black man. He need to be. I was saying it.
Yeah, I was.
And I've dabbled. I have to say, I've dabbled out there and seeing what the streets are saying. And hey, I'm equal opportunity. I am about diversity
and inclusion,
including all races, ethnicities, and nationalities. So, because I think if we actually, as Black women, open our dating pool up, there are way more options out there.
Look, them TikTok streets, I'm like, I already have a profile and a persona that I'm looking for.
So I think that, not to say I'm not dating Black men, because I still love Black men. I mean, they're beautiful. But I think as Black women, what we need to focus on, number one, is ourselves.
Yep.
Do the work, get our credit scores up, savings. But in reality, those things too, right? Like, I'm working on my next goal to tackle will be these student loans, which I'm still debating how I'm going to handle them in the most appropriate way that I need to, as far as like getting them cleared. Because I don't want to bring no debt into anything. And that's really the only debt I have.
Correct. And I don't want them bringing any debt into the relationship. So, we always have these requirements, but I'm like, I have to look within. Like, if I'm asking you not to bring it, then I shouldn't be bringing it either. So kind of like you.
Be what you want.
Be what you want.
Are you what you're asking for? I think that's a hard conversation for some of us to answer too. Yes. Of like, do I look like the type of person I want to want me?
Because and that goes both ways.
It does, because you have to really, like, for me, I have a guy friend that makes fun of me for the type of things that I like. Like he said, that's that elite stuff. Yeah, that's one of them people that be eating organic food.
The whole food groceries.
Certain decisions, certain things I say, I'll be like, oh, because I like this. They'd be like, that's something somebody who eats organic food would say. I'm like, but I'm not, I feel like I have a good balance when it comes to that. But I want someone that also has a good balance. Like, same. I like to stay in nice hotels when I go out of town.
I like to eat good.
But there's certain stuff that I still do that's real, like, hood-ish. You know what I'm saying? So, because you can't get that out of me. Like, certain foods or things that I cook or how I do things in the house. It's still like we could be in the burbs, but like I'm from Richmond, California. Okay. Right. So like there's gonna be a lot of that. Girl. That's a lot of that in me that I can balance the two. I could go in professional mode. I could be like, thug it out. So
chameleon.
I think that if we're looking for someone who is, got their stuff together, the hardest part is really listening to the red flags and being honest and being like, no, sis, don't reply.
Do not reply.
Don't settle for that.
Don't try and make it work. Don't force it. Because a lot of times I feel like
you do force
Black people, especially Black women, we have been conditioned in the past. Struggle through it. Make it work.
Struggle love.
Make it fit. And it's not even just in relationships, at work. Like,
period.
I won't be successful if that's okay. You know what? If it's not working for you, leave.
And it really is the double standard type of things that happen where it's like we're expected to be more ride or die than the other way around. And what I'm getting more used to and something that I'm putting into practice more is saying no.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yep. And no explanation.
Like I said, I told my son, like, let's put that on the calendar instead of like, springing that on.
Right.
There's going to be some things that are spontaneous, but when I don't want it to be, I need to be honest about saying that right now it's not good for me. Me and my dad had he's coming out here for his birthday. But he wanted to come out for my birthday too. And so I was like, oh, well, let's do it on this day. And he was like, well, I'm available on this. I said, I hear what you said as far as when you're available. I'm not.
But I'm not.
So this is a better day for me, for you to come. And he had a little attitude. And I'm like, you can have an attitude. Hey, you are having an attitude and that is your right.
Yep. You gotta work through it. I don't own that.
That don't mean, and I love you to death.
Listen,
but I gotta be honest, about what I feel
what works for you.
And I think the more we start practicing that, even with our people who are not in romantic relationships, then you can do it better when you see it in the other side, right? Like, especially if you're talking about partnership, someone who you want to be with, who is not your family, who you're going to try to be in their life. I feel like one of the honest things that have come for me through just continuing to go to therapy every other week, continue to do all these things and try to work on myself, is that I struggle with the thought of unconditional love.
Why do you think you struggle?
Because people get on my nerves. And I'd be like, oh, I would have to deal with that person. And I believe that real love is sticking with that person through the good times and the bad times. And it's like that's why I feel like you have to have the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
Because it's beyond you.
Yep.
It is not something that you can really do on your own.
Without.
You need the power of God to help you to stick beside. I look at my kids. When Marvin get on my nerves, I'll be like, because I am his mother.
And I choose every day.
Yes, like every I am deciding because I'm seeing something in you that's you don't know. Like you don't know why I'm the way I am with you. You don't know why I see Like me holding on is because I see something in you and I want to be there to help produce this thing or whatever. Somebody who I don't have to deal with, who I'll be like, you know what? This is not working out.
Listen, I mean, we had this conversation last week and you was like, so Kim, how are you going to start dating? And I'm just like,
yeah, I was like, what's
the word doesn't even like excite me. I was like, dating, okay. It would be nice to have a companion, but it takes work. It would take, me putting on a bra to go outside. Yeah. And I just love my bed and my daddy. So
I mean,
it is a struggle sometimes.
A lot of times.
Yes.
Because what it is too is that
I know what's out there right now.
When you meet someone, yes, the market right now, it's a lot of fixer-uppers.
Yeah, it's a lot of abandoned buildings
it is.
that are boarded up and they need
a lot of work. It's going to take a true investment.
Yes.
And you got to know that it's going to pop afterward. Like, is this really going to be, is this something that I'm a fix up and it ain't going to add value to the neighborhood? Like,
and I don't feel like I want to fix anything.
I need a turnkey.
Yeah, exactly. I already need it remodeled.
Yeah, I want it already
fresh,
upgraded.
New.
Yes, with potential for more growth.
Yes, and already walking in with a bit of value.
Yes, I want to be, by the time I sign the papers, that the equity is gone up.
The equity is there. I'm just like,
so we need to approach dating like we approach investments and other things in life.
And you think about it, and I was like, I don't know if it's the pandemic or is it the fact
because the clarity came.
The clarity, that's what I'm saying.
Because before the pandemic, I was dating somebody,
and the clarity wasn't there.
The clarity came because we stopped dating before the pandemic. I mean, there was other reasons and stuff like that. Things that I would not have dealt. I ain't gonna say dealt with because he's a great guy and all the good things. But how I approach things now is like, Aries, I do like our pastor says, I'll be like, play the movie forward.
Yep.
Where this going? Because you do.
You
know.
And I also think that for me, like watching during these recaps of Ready to Love,
the dating shows,
man, I'm like, people are weird.
They are weird.
People are hurting.
They're broken.
People are unhealed.
Yeah.
People bring toxic traits that cause trauma. Okay. People are lustful.
Oh my God. If I hear about another penis, I'm just going to lose it.
And kidney killers.
I don't want to hear it.
And I struggle with people don't have integrity.
Ooh, that's a good one. Because
integrity and being like honest, be honest about it. Be honest about where you are.
Because you would be surprised how many people would still be cool if you just keep it real.
You're dating multiple people. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing.
Thanks for letting me know where we're at. And then I could put you in a place with me. And depending upon what season I'm in, I might be good.
Correct. But see, some people want to control and dictate
the
situation.
And that's where, for me, I'm really big on trust. And like you said, the honesty and trust, they go hand in hand.
Because without trust and respect,
how are we going to put our money together? How do we put our money together at some point? You. The first marriage, I did not put my money with this. Because it was just
not. You were young too. So
yeah, but I even knew then. No.
I love it.
I'm like, nah. The bills this month are $847.50. That's your side. Like it was straight, split it down the middle, roommate, 50-50. The stuff that these little people on the internet be talking about nowadays. And I've been finding that, and I'm gonna have to just say it because it's just, I gotta say it.
Say it. Keep it 100.
I am tired of Black men creating a platform out of what Black women need to do to get them. If y'all took that energy
and put it into
y'all, I don't know, maybe there will be way more people who are not single and actually in
Right.
a relationship, because they like to tell us why we single. Well, y'all just as single as us. I mean, keeping it real. But anyway, but it's getting sickening at this point. I am so tired of it. It's like what women need to do. And it's positive guys and people out there, but it always ends up turning into this. I be trying to tell women they need to do this. And I just be like, you know what would be cool?
Disciples each other.
If y'all just stay focused on what y'all need to do.
Work on your credit score.
Work on your fixer-upper.
Getting some equity.
And then, yeah, exactly. Bring value. At this point, it's like we're doing our stuff. We're doing the work. We've been doing the therapy stuff and reading the books and the self-help and the journaling and doing all the conferences and trying to better our careers and networking. And it's not no shade to Black men in particular, in general. This is more about the particular ones that have chosen to create a platform that really it's Black women who over there supporting you. So sisters, and
probably listening to
we the ones that need to be stopping supporting all this, because it gets to the point where I just be like, I don't even want to hear. I don't need you to. Girl, how you gonna tell me what I need to do?
Listen,
because I'm not using our platform to tell Black men what they need to do
at all.
Because I don't hear and the only reason I'm calling out Black men is because this is the Black platform, and we usually are supporting each other in the community. And 9 times out of 10, Black women are giving them more support than what we're getting.
Marching for them.
Everything. So to me, and we do not get the visibility on their platforms other than y'all telling us how we suck and how we need to do better. And that's the part where I'll just be like, where are the platforms telling y'all that what y'all need to do? And I see a couple that are starting to spring out there.
I do too.
But it's not enough.
It's not near.
It's not enough. If some of these people will shift the messaging and figure out a way to talk to yourselves, I think that would be very helpful. Because right now, Black women, the platforms we're having are showcasing that right now y'all are not doing well. And we can say that because a lot of, like I said earlier, majority of Black women only date Black men. And that's why instead of complaining about a specific race that you only deal with, right? Because we don't know what everybody else is doing. You don't know what everybody else is doing, or if there's other men other than Black men that are doing certain things. If you date only Black men, like you only have one example. And again, like I said, I love Black men, but at the same time, I want to open up my
dating pool
options so that I could honestly evaluate what's out there.
Yep.
Because I can't honestly evaluate what's out there if I'm only honed into this one demographic or whatever. And again, I love my people. I love Black men. I would love to be with a Black man. I would love for it to just be all the hashtag Black love. But right now, I just got to say, it's feeling real theoretical. That's all I can say.
And that's straight keeping it 100.
It's feeling real theoretical and not realistic. Because I could tell you, as a Black woman, as a professional, as someone who don't even talk about my accomplishments publicly like that, specifically on a date. Like, I'm not going to dates and be like, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I got this degree and all that. I never mention myself. Usually it's somebody bringing it up to me because they've already looked me up or whatever and felt like, oh, you this kind of woman. It's usually coming at me from that. Almost in a negative, like because it's bad.
They probably feel inadequate.
And I'll be like, did I put my
instead of saying
stuff out there
in a different perspective, like, I see you've accomplished this, like, you're a well-accomplished woman. That is amazing.
Because I'm not doing it to impress you.
Exactly.
I'm not doing it for you to validate me. I'm not doing it for someone to
and I think about this, like, we all get the same amount of hours.
Rate me.
Right. We all get the same amount of hours.
Yeah.
And most times I'll even
get off of your A and what Kim Kardashian said. Get your lazy A's up and work. People don't want to work anymore. Like, she's actually
and work
because I don't.
We're working.
Right. I'm
We're
tired.
working, we're rearing children. We are doing it all, child, and we are tired.
I'm tired. I think, and that's really what it is too, is that I come across a lot of great guys that are accomplished. And on the outside, you will look at them and say they're high value. You know how they be saying. Yes. Whatever y'all think that is, like I would put them in that ranking as far as like if I just look at them. But then when I get to the nitty gritty of who they are, I'll be like, oh, who hurt you?
Right.
I'll be like, oh, if you could just like therapy would make you amazing. Seriously.
Not just going to therapy, but
participating.
Yes, application.
Because it's getting scary to the point of like literally if people saw people that, you know, were trying to date me or I have dated or whatever, you'd be like, what? You'd be like, child. And not to say that I don't have things that I have to work on. I do, but in particular with these ones, I'm like, dang it. Either you out here being a hoe.
Yep.
Or you're insecure and intimidated, which I hate that word whenever it's said, but it's facts. Like I literally had somebody come in my house and be like, is this a rental? Just like off the bat. And I was like, first of all, nothing against rentals, but that was your first, like somebody asking Kiera, what is this your car?
They asked you if this was a rental?
I was like, no, but why? Like, why was that like literally walking over the threshold of my house? That's the question you're at. Like walking into the house and
sizing you up.
I'm like,
it's just size you up to see.
Hold on a second here, you know?
Oh my gosh.
So it's a lot of stuff out there that just ain't right. And so again, I think as Black women, we need to really have an honest conversation about what priorities look like as far as what do I need? What is the gap analysis? Right.
Right.
What do I need to work on for me? And get deep into those internal things that are ugly. Cause there's some stuff I'm talking about in therapy right now where I'm like, woo, child. It's been taking up the last month. Actually 2 months because I go every other week. Where I'm like, okay, let's talk about this again. Because there's some deep-rooted stuff. And for us culturally as well, that we need to really come to it's a come to reality that I don't think a lot of us are really ready to face when it comes to us in our community and dating and relationships.
I absolutely agree.
And it's not easy to open up your dating pool, specifically as a Black woman either, which is why we usually stick with Black men, because to date outside of our race, now we got to deal with the race thing.
Yes.
And like, how were you raised and how is your family going to be acting? And, you know, there's a whole thing. But I will say I'm seeing a lot of new stuff going on out there. Some people taking some risks. But what I really want to see is our men just get it.
Level up.
Yeah. This is a generalized statement I'm making. There's a lot of great Black men out there. We ain't got to keep giving the caveat. Okay.
And the ones that are great, help
they
them.
Know. Ally. We need allies.
We need you to help disciple these men. Like if you see, hold them accountable.
Did you see Nicki Minaj like going off on Joe Budden on her live? She's been kind of doing that lately. Her and Kevin Samuels had a little, you know, back and forth, but he was being real soft on her platform. He wasn't being like Kevin how Samuels? Yes, he was kissing her butt. He was not being how he is on that show, tearing them women down. And she was like, how you gonna tell somebody what they are? Rating women and all this and that. Well, her and Joe Budden, it was another conversation. She said, I'm sick of these Black men telling us how we suck, basically. Like, this is not embarrass Black women.
And then, you know,
we're not doing that.
We suck, but then it's no problem to have your children and to be mothers of your children.
That's all we're good for. That's all they want. That's all those particular type of men. That's all they really would do is breed. Outside of that.
And then they're just breeding. They're not even raising the kids.
Ooh, girl.
So you're right. Like in our community, we do really need to have we need a meeting.
We need a family meeting.
We do.
But the problem is Who's going to lead the meeting? Who's really going to meet? Who's going to really get down to the nitty gritties of what we need to work on as a community and the hatred that is within our community, amongst the men and the women, amongst the light skin, the dark skin, amongst the corporate and the blue collar. I mean, there's so much stuff that just because we do need to focus on us. There is times where we really need to figure out what we need, what we want, what our demands are, but we can't even get there because we don't have our house in order. We're not unified. Yeah. So we cannot unify. And we need to get it together. So for me, again, I'm holding out in the market right now. I'm waiting. Right. Like I want to buy a house, but I know how the market is right now. So I'm just going to wait. It's a little volatile. So I'm going to chill. And, maybe what I would say at work, I'm like a bluebird will come my way, maybe a opportunity will pop up and I'll be like, oh, look at that. This came my way. It wasn't even on the market. Let me close this opportunity. Right. Let me hurry up and get it before it goes prospect. Out. Okay, exactly. I'm like, I need to see it. Because right now the pipeline of talent is not. The pipeline, honey. It's struggling. You know how they say when they're trying to find prospects in the pipeline. When they try to find some Black folks for some jobs, they be like, it's a pipeline problem. We don't have them in the pipeline. We have a pipeline issue. We have a pipeline. In the dating. Woo, Lord. Okay, so as y'all can see, we had to 100. Just give y'all. This was like, we need to call this like a family meeting. I don't know what we need to call it, but we're definitely keeping it 100. And these are the type of conversations that we have, and I was like, Kim's like, we have this conversation. We have this conversation. So if there are any gentlemen out there that would love to kind of share your feedback, we would love to hear from you. Would we? I do. Oh. I want to know. Kim would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? And what do you think we need to out there? And also it's like your thoughts, but we always have thoughts, but what are solutions? Because we always and don't tell us what we need to do. Yep. As Black women, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it no more. I'm getting sick of it. Problem, but come with a solution. I don't want to hear nothing about what Black women need to do. What I want to hear, if any Black man has anything to say about this podcast, what are you going to do? Tell me about what is happening in the community. Yep. And what are you doing as men? Because again, we get the same amount of hours. I mean, you see, the mother who's single, who's going to school, who's working, who's doing this, she's doing all of this alone. And then the dad is upset about child support. Girl, we're not about to go down. We're not about to do this. That's what it's a whole open. That's what we're not about to do. We ain't about to do that. That's a whole other conversation. But I would love if anyone has anything to say about it. But women, what are y'all doing? Help us understand what's happening. Yeah. Are y'all dating? Are y'all dating out here? And tell us about your men. Not personally, but where are you find them at Home Depot, Lowe's? What is the success? How is it? How, when, where, how? Because right now, go look at our Ready to Love recaps, y'all, because we'll be talking about some of the stuff that's going on and these people that's out here in these dating streets. And I just tell you, I love my house by myself sometimes. I love the peace. Because it's just not. You can't put a price on peace. But again, it's a market thing. It's a season thing. I don't think this is how it's going to be forever. I do think this is definitely, because I don't feel like it was always like that. But also it could be as you grow, you evolve, you look at things a lot different become too. More hyper aware. Because I'll look back at people that I was like, oh yeah, I thought they were all this and that. And I'll be like, what was you going through, girl? You was going through something. Right. What was that? What was you doing over here? Because I literally, one time I remember there was this guy. Sometimes I would like to flirt and I just be wanting to flirt, really, Mm-hmm. And this is why I don't get mad. Like if you meet a guy out, and then we're going to be done, y'all. If you meet a guy out and let's say they get your number and then they don't call. I always have this 24 or 48 hour thing. I'm like, okay, if they don't hit you back or if they don't hit you up, it could have just been that night it was just a good night. Like it
Right.
was, everybody was feeling the vibes, you know, because there's times where I've been like that, where I'll see somebody and I'll be flirting. And it was like one time I saw this dude that I used to talk to, and I hadn't seen him in years. And I saw him out, and he was kind of looking over, and was flirting. I was like, okay. So when I went to the bathroom, I was going to the bathroom. He had like came by, and then we were talking. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever. I gave him my number. In my mind, I'm like, why you do that? Why'd you get this dude your number? Like, you don't want to talk to him. So the next day, he hit me up because I was thinking, okay, maybe he just won't call, you know?
He called.
And then he called, and I was like, you know, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have given you my number. I was in the mood. You know, I was feeling, you know, good that night and whatever, but I probably shouldn't have, because, you know, like he knew. Like, you know how it ended before. You know, it wasn't, you know, we really, but it's like, I just like, you know what? Let me get that out of here because it should not be like this. I think we just got to get more. That was kind of me recognizing like that's not really the right way. That's not
what I really want.
So
I was just doing something.
Exactly. Let's just get into the habit because sometimes you could be bored. Yep. You're dealing with someone that you don't need to be dealing with. Let's really do a real assessment of what we have in our situation right now. And if it's not for you and you know it ain't going nowhere, you need to cut it.
You better cut it.
So anyway, all right, y'all, we're done ranting and raving.
Right. And keeping it 100, we're going to have crazy faith.
I want to see who's going to get in our DMs and say, y'all need to stick beside them. I'm ready for you.
I'm going to stick beside the good Lord, okay? And if he tell me, I don't want it if it ain't from him.
I listen, and he going to have to really let me know.
Me in the face. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to know. Because he going to be like, no, Aries, my child.
So keep it 100. Look, live your lives. Enjoy life to the fullest.
And don't let nobody make you feel bad about being single.
At all.
Don't let nobody make you feel about being married. If your marriage is thriving, be like, look, honey, I don't know what man y'all been with, but mine is good, and I'm going to stick beside them. That's great. Everybody needs to be happy with what they got.
In their season.
But do not feel pressured. Open up the pool if you feel like where you're going it hasn't been going well. Try something new. Try something different. Do it a different way. Go to a different place. Yes. Go to a different location. Go to different hangout spots. You can't go to the same kind of hangout spots where all the same people are thinking you about to meet somebody new.
Getting a different result at the same place. It's just like a job. If that job isn't working out for you, you're going to go apply somewhere else.
So we're going to put Kim on like a trial. We need to put her out into some places.
Get her out. That. Not right now. It ain't my season. But they say this is not my season. Let me continue to work on my credit.
All right, y'all. Have a bold week.
And keep it 100.
Keep it 100. All right, we'll see y'all next time.
All right.